Hello everyone, my name's Eddie the Chump and welcome to a new video from your Overwatch. Today we've got a comprehensive guide of what Sombra can hack or EMP effectively. And we've done some thorough testing, and be aware, there are some results that might surprise you. First, a few ground rules. Sombra's hack or EMP will never stop a character from either having their passive abilities still work or their main shooting options. As you can see here, Genji can still double jump and throw shurikens. However, when it comes to his Swift Strike, when hacked he cannot perform this move, as it's actually an ability. He can also not perform his ult if he hasn't cast it before she hacks him. However, if he does use it before she hacks him, he can still use his Dragon Blade. The only difference being he can no longer Swift Strike during his ult if he's hacked. As you can see here, McCree can still fan the hammer while hacked and use his primary fire. However, even if he casts his ultimate before she hacks him, it actually steals it from him and his counter is set to 0. Moving on to Farah now, there's actually a surprising detail here. She can still use spacebar to float mid-air, and that's because it counts as her passive. Being hacked mid-air and falling to her death might have been deemed a little bit overpowered. However, if she even attempts to use her air boost ability, she can be hacked midway through and have it completely stopped. The same is true for Barrage, which can be hacked midway through. As we see, Reaper here cannot be targeted during his Wraith form. He can be hacked mid-teleport though, and without the evasive options available to him, he could be in trouble. It's a similar case with his ultimate to McCree and Farah. However, a well-timed Zarya bubble will leave him unable to be hacked. On to Zenyatta now, and here's where things really get interesting. First of all, Discord behaviour. If Zenyatta puts a Discord on a target before being hacked, it will actually remain with them, and in Sombra's case, even if she's invisible. However, he can't use this to track her, it's just that the effect is never removed from her. An interesting thing to note is that while she's invisible, Sombra can actually take objectives and contest them. I'm not sure how that's going to affect the game in the real world, but it is an interesting thing to note. Another thing that's interesting is that during his Transcendence, Zenyatta is completely immune to being hacked or EMP'd. Normally Sombra's EMP removes all barriers and shields, and that includes blue health on characters like Zenyatta or Symmetra. However, there are a few exceptions, and Zenyatta's ultimate is one of those. On to Soldier 76 now, and one thing I wanted to test was whether being hacked affected his biotic field's healing. It does not. This applies to a lot of pre-deployed equipment before a hack, but we'll get onto that later. For now, let's concentrate on the fact that Soldier 76's ultimate cannot be disrupted by a hack. This is actually a part of a trend. Channeling ultimates can be disrupted, but continuous ones like Soldier 76's cannot. And what's this? Tracer can be hacked mid-blink? Yes, it's incredibly hard to do, but if you can time it right, you can actually stop Tracer blinking with a hack. However, her ultimate remains completely unaffected by even an EMP. That means if you get stuck, you still die. On to Bastion now, and even more fascinating discoveries. Bastion can in fact be hacked mid-heal, stopping him in his tracks. And what's worse, and potentially even more dangerous, is that if he's hacked while in turret form, it actually knocks him out into standing robot mode. That is not best case scenario, but there is a silver lining. Bastion cannot be hacked during his ultimate, so there is at least a chance you will be able to turn into a tiny tank and exact your revenge. On to Mei now, and there are a few things to consider. Sombra cannot hack while taking damage, which makes Mei's Ice Beam an absolute nightmare for her. Mei is also not hackable during her cocoon. In addition to that, one of the strangest results that we found during our testing was that if Mei builds an ice wall and is then hacked, she still has the ability to cancel the wall. As far as we could tell, this is the only two-part ability that is capable of this. Another thing that we thought you guys might want to know is whether hacking Torbjorn also hacks his turret. We can confirm that this isn't true. If you hack Torb, his turret remains intact. Yes, Sombra, you do have to hack them separately. Now, Symmetra, on the other hand, is a completely different case. In fact, her turrets are not hackable at all by Sombra. In fact, they still work even if Symmetra herself is hacked. And additionally, perhaps controversially, Symmetra's teleporter is not hackable at all. Neither are Junkrat's traps or C4. However, being hacked will stop him being able to complete his C4 detonation, which I find odd seeing as Mei is able to complete one of her abilities despite being hacked. Maybe this is different because this one does damage. And no, being invisible does not protect her from setting off Junkrat traps. She will get trapped just the same as any other hero. Now, Junkrat himself can actually be hacked during his ultimate. The tire, however, is a different matter. We found out during testing that the tire itself is not actually targetable. Despite this, I think Sombra could actually bait out the tire using using her teleporter effectively. Onto D.Va now, and I have to say it's not looking good for you, D.Va. Not only can her defense matrix be hacked straight through, but she can also actually be stopped mid-flight by a hack if the tracking is good enough. However, a Sombra hack cannot stop D.Va from entering her mech once she's pressed the button, nor can she do anything about a nerf this. However, if she does hack her during that ultimate, D.Va then cannot get into the mech. A quick word about Widow and Hanzo now. If Widow calls in her ultimate before a hack or an EMP, those abilities will have no effect upon her ultimate. She'll still be able to see Sombra through walls. Hanzo's recon arrow is only capable of seeing an invisible Sombra through a wall, whereas Widow's ultimate can see her straight in front of her face. Onto Reinhardt now, and Sombra can hack Reinhardt's shield with ease. In fact, she can hack him mid-charge too, stopping him in his tracks. Zarya is a hero that had some unexpected results. The first being that a hack does not remove her shields, but an EMP does. That is, of course, unless she has a bubble on her. In that context, her bubble will be destroyed, she will get charge, but her shields will remain intact. A Winston bubble, however, does not protect her. The Winston bubble will be destroyed, and so will her shields. This is the same sort of thing that we saw with the Zenyatta ult earlier. One thing that I really did want to test was to see whether a hack could stop an already thrown Roadhog hook. And as you can see here, it doesn't. If you're Sombra in that situation, you're just going to have to deal with that. Onto Lucio now, and the first thing to realise is that if you're hacked, you cannot switch between speed or healing modes. If you manage to get Drop the Beat off, a hack post-ultimate will not remove the barrier. It's not all good news though, as a hack can actually disrupt you casting the ultimate, and it just gets worse from there. An EMP post-ultimate will destroy all the barriers from Drop the Beat, and just in case you were wondering, yes, it will stop you casting it in the first place. There's one silver lining though. If you are EMP'd as you're casting your ultimate, you won't lose it like some other heroes will. Moving on to Ana now, an EMP will not stop a nano, and neither will just a normal hack. There seem to be some fairly straightforward rules about what you can interrupt and what you can cancel using EMP or hacking. Channeling ults like McCree's, Reaper's or Pharah's are disruptible, but continuous ults, like an example not shown in this video, Mercy's Resurrection, is not interruptible once they've begun. If you're thinking of playing Sombra, it's important to know what you can stop and what you cannot if you want to be effective. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a rating. If you want us to talk about anything specific, please don't hesitate to leave a comment below. Also, please follow the Your Overwatch Twitter. It's where you can find updates about new videos and streams. I've been Eddie the Chump, and until next time.